And the first thing you hear is just Lee laughing. Yes. Hello, Lee.
This is going to be fun.
This little podcast idea was by request from her and to you guys.
Yeah.
So go right ahead, Lee.
Hello, I'm Lily. What else can I say about me? I don't know. I could say a lot, but then I'm so clueless.
You're the only one that knows you the best. Come on.
Okay. I'm Lily. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Germany. Cosplayer. I was gonna say. I've known Yin for like not that long, but it's been a fun time since I've known him. Basically.
It's only been a few months.
Yeah. I mean, I think 2 or 1.5 to 2.
Probably just like in the 1.5 range for sure.
Yeah, 1.5 definitely. I mean, it hasn't been that long since I've known you, and then we started the first podcast Mafia game thingy.
You suggested
it was like shortly after. We're all about like playing Mafia, and I was like, and I was like, hey, okay, let's do this. But then you were like, live stream this thing, and then that's how it happened.
That's your experience. That's your experience with me. That's all you remember.
Okay, guys, I was drunk in the first podcast Mafia game. Okay, I'm sorry.
She kept on implying that she was because she said she drank 2 bottles of red wine before the stream.
No, it was like basically through the whole night. I mean, around the time when the podcast happened, it was like close to 4 or 5 a.m. for me.
Yeah, you were really off your rocker. You were really off it.
I mean, the time where you guys basically are online, but then I remember around that time I just had a very bad sleep schedule.
This woman would stay up till like 5 in the morning. This woman right
Talk
here.
about this, because today I like stayed up until 4.
Jesus
4:30.
Christ.
But that's only because I was working on sketches for Kiwi.
Okay, got it.
And I'm actually, but I don't care. No, okay, I do care. It's just like,
yeah,
take a break.
reword your statement there. You do care quite a lot.
Okay, I do care quite a lot. I'm sorry.
But other than that, you did note you were a cosplayer. So how long have you been doing cosplay?
I've been cosplaying since 2014, like the end of 2014 into 2015. 2013, but I think it's 2014. So basically for 5 years already.
Oh wow.
Yep.
So what got you into it actually? What got you into the cosplay scene?
I need to remember. Oh. To be a very stupid story. Oh no. No, okay, I'm joking. What happened? Around the time before I started cosplaying, I like online friends. And then there was this one particular friend who kind of asked me, hey, if you want to like go to a convention and like let's like meet up for the first time. So that happened, and I think at the beginning of the year of 2014. And yeah, I met up with a friend of mine, and she kind of like got me into the cosplay scene pretty quickly. Span of like the year, it started like from, I don't know, I think that I only bought one cosplay, and the rest of my cosplay basically are like self-made. I see them all myself. I started pretty early, and yeah, she kind of got me into in 2014, 2015.
So would you say like she made a good impact on you, on your life through the work?
Well, I don't have any contact with that person anymore because she pulled up a lot of dick moves in a span of like 2 years, 3 years.
Oh.
pretty quickly after what happened. Like I think 2015 or 16 was it around time, and I mean, thanks to her, I got to know like one special person. She Since then, this person is a good friend of mine, and we spend a lot of time together, even though we basically don't talk at all. But when we see each other, like, you know, you don't need to talk 24/7 to someone. You know what I mean? But what happened was that I got like a lot of weird rumors from her, but not only. Oops, I'm sorry, that was my freaking mic. How do I say that? Like, I asked like a comment like hours if I could like stay at her place during a convention, basically. And she was like, okay, now we currently is full and something. And it turns out that this person who introduced me into the cosplay scene was there too, and I didn't expected that because she lives like I think 3 hours, if not 3.5 hours away from the convention or where we live. And well, what happened during the convention that I did not expect to see her at all, and like I was kind of like, you know, even though we barely talked, I was still like, you know, we're friends, we're from 4 years or something, and I was like, hey, it's so nice to see you. I didn't expect it to be like for you to be here. And all she did was like look at me and gave me the freaking cold shoulder afterwards. She just looked at me and then like, well, moved on to her phone again, and it was like, wow, okay. And it got worse and worse afterwards with that friend who introduced me into the cosplay scene. She what did she do? A lot of bullshit to another friend, and like she said something to friend A who was like letting them stay over during the convention. Like I asked them if I could remember, and then she was like, hey, she told me like not to invite you at all because this person was like so against you, like having you there. And I'm like, okay, wow, what did I ever do to you? And then yeah, basically what a long break or whatever, like me not caring at all what's going on with her life and stuff. I was like enjoying my cosplay friends and new whatever. And she just kind of crawled back and like tried to explain herself and excuses herself, and then yeah, the facts, she basically got speechless and never cared.
So
so much to have friends like
her. So would you say it's a burden now, or would you
a
say
burden? I mean, I'm glad that she kind of introduced me into the cosplay scene. It's kind of sad that she turned. I would say. Like, I don't know how she's doing right now, but it's like that she made these kind of choices that it turned out to be this way it currently is.
Oh, that's your viewpoint on it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you do enjoy it.
I mean, I've met new friends, and I still have like friends from the time when I was with her, basically. Where I still get along with, and I don't mind it. Like if I see her, I would just say hello, and just continue on with. Why should I like get myself for having her in the same place? Like, oh, there are so many people about like. Sometimes you love the cosplay community, and sometimes you just want to strangle everyone.
I would never know because I never went to a cosplay con before, but you have, it seems.
I have been to many, especially in Germany. A lot of them. There's a few other people, but as in, because I'm broke, I need to pay off other shit. But yeah, I've been to. I think around how many conventions do I go in a year?
Well, I wouldn't
4,
know.
5. Wait, let me guess. T-Con, Animo, Cast, they don't need Animagic. Okay. 3 to 4 conventions, up to 6 or 7, depending.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
It's depending on how my work kind of work, like how I'm having free time or something like that. Like right now, especially right now, for example, this weekend we have this huge cosplay convention called Dokumi, and this year I will not attend it, as in I need to do my application. So yeah. Set priorities and stick to them. Ugh, don't be like me.
So your passion is still under the cosplay community, at least. Your passion still resides in it.
Does I mean I have a lot of friends I get along with, especially the fun part about it is that I be one of the youngest, or used to. I have to say, like, a lot of cosplay friends of mine, they're already like in their 25th, like 25-year-old, upper or lower, depending. But some of them I do get considered close friends, since they kind of did made a lot of like cosplayers so great at all. Like I remember 2016 or 17 was it, when I had like a magi shooting in a like very oriental place, and it was so cool. Background noises right now?
No, but I do
Okay.
get what you mean, like having close friends because of many events in your life. I do get that feeling, but I can't really connect with you in terms of cosplay. So what really defines cosplay to you?
For me it's more like cosplaying, either like depending on how, if like sometimes I cosplay characters I really have a connection with, or I really like about I don't know, for example Toph, for example, with someone I do or like Toph Beifong from Avatar, for example. I loved her so much. I couldn't like spend a day without like watching videos about Toph. And it sometimes happens that you tend to like characters and you want to do a lot of cosplays with, especially but then what kind of like gets in the way is when you see beautiful things, beautiful fan arts, animes coming up, and you started to want to like cosplay from that anime and stuff. And for me, cosplay is representing not only the character but also fun being the character you are, but still be yourself in a sense, since it's still you who is wearing the costume. It's weird to explain, since you start to behave like the character, and sometimes you just character. That would be the best wording, I guess, in this sense. But yeah, what cosplay at all is that I can make a lot of people happy. Depending on what you're wearing, for example. Jesus Christ, I need to like close down the window. For fuck's sake, my neighbors.
Well, that caught it.
Don't mind them, they're dicks.
Okay, continue.
No, like what I remember a lot was for example, it's called the movie Zootopia. With the characters like Judy Hopps and Nick Weil and that Small World animation movie. it was a good friend of mine, and we cosplayed the two main characters from that animation movie, basically like Judy and Nick. And what kind of stands out a lot is that, like in Disney movies or animation movies, to watch them especially. And I remember when we were those two characters together, there were so many kids coming up and were like, "Oh, it's Judy and it's Nick," and they just wanted to take pictures with you, and you can like you just yourself in this case. You're the character they love in the movie, and it's just so adorable to see the little kids sometimes like shine up. In some cases, that was like an experience I had, or what I also see a lot is characters, for example, the kids tend to like love to see their princesses alive. Basically, it's not only about good photo shooting with the character. I mean, it's a main point basically. A huge part of doing cosplay for me is that I can meet up with friends, like get to talk to them again after who knows how long. For example, I have one friend, greetings to Ricky.
Shoutouts to Ricky.
She is the sweetest girl I've known, and we've known each other for like 4 years. I don't remember. And we only see each other sometimes at like once a year at the convention close to her place. And it's so sad since we only live like 1.5 hours apart from each other. Best part is that we kind of see each other at the convention, and we get to like talk again and like chat up. So I mean, yes, there is a thing called communication or WhatsApp, but if you're me, a lazy fucking bean, I tend to not do that.
So you would definitely say that cosplay is it's a positive for people in retrospective, but you also made a warning to me as well that just because you are displaying the character does not make you the character itself. You kind of had to make your own way as a privilege rather than an actual, right.
As the thing is, like, you're still yourself, and you have your human rights, and you still like want to be respected, and that's something like we all want, and we only do this for fun because we love the character that we're like wearing, and it's we want to like make the character come to life basically, and it's joy to see like getting together with friends from the same, I don't know, movie, anime, whatsoever, and then wearing them together. It's just it's there is where the joy comes out. For let's see, for example, Final Fantasy 15. I started to like cosplay a lot since it basically came out. I think 2017. I remember right now. But yeah, the thing is, like, two friends of mine who basically wear Prompter Noctis a lot, they always like kind of invite me to like, hey, you want to come with us to this convention or that convention and do like a group cosplay together. And that's where the joy comes in, since you spend a lot of time together with them, and not only like doing some photos, you basically talk and catch up again. And cosplay can be like also with like new friends, something, I don't know how to say it, basically like if you've been in the cosplay scene, you tend to like get to know a lot of people, and then the longer you are, the better you sometimes know them. And there's always a possibility like to get to know a lot of new people. For example, that was something I actually like enjoyed a lot in around time when I started cosplaying. I started to cosplay with a friend from Black Butler, Kuro Shitsushi, was it, right? And it was, at first, it was just us two as a partner cosplay. I randomly started to like gather people who cosplay from the same anime, and it's key to like search up group cosplays in public, basically, since you like strangers especially, and that's where it like kind of diverse from close friend cosplays, like, and then people you actually don't know or barely know. And it's like a 50-50 chance where you either have the fun of your life or being like, because you're so sad it's not like what you expect it to be. Like that.
I think I can get what you mean. It's like the one time of the year where you can just like meet with all your friends and you're doing something that you all care about, which makes sense. But for me to like go out of my way and say like I can cosplay, I don't know if I can have that courage just yet. Maybe once or twice.
I mean, the thing is about cosplay is that where I would stand right now if I didn't start to cosplay gave me a lot of confidence, like self-confidence. I don't know how to say, like, I used to like think a lot about how people thought about me. And since I started like cosplaying itself, I'm like, why should I care? I have the fun of my life. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think cosplay actually is a great way to build up social skills because, like you said, it's like a way to portray a character where it's not entirely you, but it is you, and you can converse with people that are in the same movie, series, or otherwise, and you get to be able to walk up to them, have a confidence to say something, and then you're in that group for a little while, and then you bounce up to the next and to the next. I think that's a great social experience to test someone if they're an extrovert or an introvert. It's a great way to tell.
It is kinda like it's funny, like I used to be an introvert when I was younger, and now I'm like a freaking extrovert. I talk so much. It's like my best friends need to like freaking close my mouth to make me stop talking for once. So that's how hardcore it is to be an extrovert. No, I'm joking. I'm not that much of an extrovert, but I enjoy talking a lot since, especially during like in cosplay events where I get to meet like people. Fun. Sometimes I see friends where I lost my train of thought. My train of thought.
I'm just letting you walk through the paces.
Shit, I forgot where I left.
But I can honestly say, like, to all those that cosplay, including you, Lee, you guys have massive guts, honestly, to pull off characters from series that are fictional or non-fictional. It can be non-fictional too. I mean, I've seen several people dress up as historical figures and otherwise.
Oh yes, they did.
So don't worry, guys. If you're cosplaying as George Washington or Abraham Lincoln, you're doing it right. If you're
as long as you have fun, there's nothing that can stop you. I swear. As long as you have fun, and it's awesome.
And if you're also cosplaying as Sailor Moon characters or otherwise, Final Fantasy is included, then you're also doing it right. But if you're just one guy that just happens to stick out like a sore thumb and not cosplay, you're doing it wrong at a cosplay event. Which I feel like that is be my thing. I will be that one guy that's just standing there in the crowd without any cosplay. Yeah, I stick out like a sore thumb. I'm like, oh, I don't feel this vibe. I feel like I'm missing something. All right, a cosplay costume.
God, I get that a lot actually. I don't know. Like a few years before, I tend to like do a lot of cosplays, and I enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. But as soon as, I don't know, this year for me, it's like I need to like second, as in so much that I do the things I want to do at all, or finish the things I already started, for example. For this year especially, like I don't like, or I'm kind of minimize a lot of plans I have for this year. First, I need money.
Don't we all?
Second, I do have a lot of time, but I need no time for other stuff too, and it's like so time consuming. Something, it's getting too warm again.
Time is just a big factor for some people, man. It really is. They have so many ideas and creativity, but they just don't have time. So it really does come down to how a cosplayer adapts to the situation, which I find it very shocking.
I definitely find funny is every time, like a week before a convention or something, I see, and I'm so like through my Instagram feed, and I see like my friends like, oh shit, only a week left, and I'm still not working on my program, like of my cosplay or something. This is how sometimes cosplayer do it. Like we spend the night through until the day of the convention. I do it a lot, actually. I do it a lot.
That's like really incredible too. Absolutely, you guys have like time and effort, and sometimes some funds to be able to do things. But I think it's also more critical to, if you're gonna spend a couple days at the convention, straight days cosplaying, I think that's also like a mental strength to also uphold.
I mean, for a whole day, it's depending on what you wear. If you have a full freaking fuck armor, then yes, heck. I mean, aren't as lightweight as they look. Especially to a friend, she's been doing a lot of armors, and oh my god, she looks so dope. And I'm still like, she makes a lot of shit. Like she makes huge plushies, for example, and then she did a lot of like, I forgot from where it was, like it was so huge. She used to do it with her ex, if I remember correctly. But she's someone who crafts a lot. Heck, you should have time. I mean, I would make a freaking life-size Gabumon from Digimon.
Whoa.
Like that's how I met her, actually. Like she cosplayed Yamato Ishida Digimon, and she legit had, know how big it was, like 1 meter on 1 meter something, I don't know. It was like half her height. And she's around my height, okay? She's around 5'2". Makes sense. So in that case, and she legit, I asked her like if I could carry it for I don't know, a few minutes. I couldn't carry it for like more than 5 minutes. It's so heavy.
Well, it's a life-size Gabumon. Come on.
It's Gabumon. It legit looks dope, and I think she redid it too. I don't know, but I swear, hats off for her, because Jesus Christ, that Gabumon looks so good. I could send you a picture. But I do that later. But I love her. Like she's also like that kind of person who I once in a year or 2 times in a year, depending on where she which kind of convention she's attending. But it's still so adorable to meet her. Because she remembers me as the one girl who like fangirled so much about the Gabumon plushie.
It's a little Gabumon!
I swear, when I saw that Gabumon, I was like, oh my god! I'm felt like a kid again. It's like, I mean, I was a kid. How old was I there? 16? Yeah, around the time I
Life-size
was 16
Gobblemon
or
at my
something.
feet.
I loved it. I remember that call. But it was also like 2015 was like one of the best cosplay year I ever had. Fun memories I can still recall and still appreciate. Women, if I say like that. E.
So would you call it an advantage then if you had like the Gobblemon along with the Digimon cosplay? So would that work for other cosplay costumes as well?
Wait, how do you mean that? Sorry.
Just like the accents of other props, so to speak. Would that also be more powerful for a cosplayer to take into account when creating the costume, or is it not necessary?
Oh, that's like the one major factor. Like if you had, for example, let's say Sailor Moon. Someone has this weird, what was it? This rod, was it? I don't know. In some, depending on what kind of seasons or something, and then it's not essential, but it makes you feel very complete with the costume, especially like, for example, we have Luna Freya. Luna Freya has her trident, and it's not necessary to have a trident. For me, it's like I want to do for not only for photo shooting, but just to see if I am capable of like working on materials or working on or being able to craft slash accessories, rod stuff, whatsoever. It's like kind of figuring out if you're like those crafting I don't know how to say that, like crafting, if you're like,
If you're the craftsman type, you can make that prop.
if you have the motive, yeah, if you can make that prop, basically, yes.
So it just only adds to the character. It doesn't really matter much. It seems like you're saying that.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't matter much. Like for me, it's like, for me, example, I don't care if like something is missing or something, since you basically like, for example, you always like upgrade your cosplay in some sense, depending on how you feel. For like example, Luna Freya, I've made Luna Freya's dresses like 2 times already. I wore her and I was like, okay, I need to do a new dress, and I redid her again. I redid her wig styling, and it's like always trying to figure how to do your cosplay better in a sense, and it's also like a learning process. I see it, basically.
So would you say that's also the most difficult part about cosplay, making the design and hoping that it all comes together? Because I feel like that's a very stressful situation for most cosplayers.
Yes, especially if you have like no or like sometimes you have a lot of like designs from I don't know, from Sailor Moon, for example, or Luna Freya. We have like, there's a thing like character design, and you have a look at it, and sometimes you don't know how to do whatsoever. Like Luna Freya's dress, I don't know how I made it, but I just made it. Improvising sometimes, if you have the skill to and know how to do this and that, you basically win this game. But for me, all my life I've been doing is like improvising and starting to learn a lot of new things, like pattern designing, working with patterns at all, or figure out what else new. You're always trying to like update your workplace too, basically, and more like you want to find your kind of space, kind of pace, that was it, space pace, where you're like trying to figure out how more for you, and it's easy to remember, especially like, I don't know, how do I say it, I think the more you do something like the same thing over and over again, the more you get used to it. Yeah.
So it's just a matter of experience and time and effort you put into every single cosplay to gradually advance into the next stage, so to speak. So to speak. That's what I'm getting from you.
Kinda, I guess.
Then would you also say that for most cosplayers out there that has that experience, would they also suggest managing your time more, or would they also suggest?
They always suggest managing more time. I swear. I do that sometimes, but I'm just like, I'm always repeating my same mistakes. Yeah. It's a like sometimes you kind of wish and regret shit for like starting to, and I think the sooner you have chosen on what to wear on a certain convention or something, the sooner you should start probably. Who starts like 2 weeks before a convention? Haha. If not 3 days for a convention. Hehe. I'm the worst kind of cosplay actually.
Is there an inspirational cosplayer in your area or around the world, for that matter, that inspires you to do
There's
so?
so many. There's so freaking many. I swear. It's depending on like in which kind of direction you want to go. If you want to be like more treated, like for I don't know, like from Elder Scrolls, for example, Skyrim, whatever, or kind of. We have the German cosplayer called Kamui Cosplay, and well known for her Warbler armor cosplays, or EVA EVA film cosplays, and oh my gosh, she is like the way she armors into like you see those armors basically sometimes only in games and stuff, and then you have it like right in front of you. It's like so cool. My Kawaii cosplay, because since I also want to like try out some fantasy inspired cosplays, I hope I can like learn from her a lot of stuff. Let me see. Hikarin? She is a cosplayer from Canada. Holy crap, her gang is one of the cutest group ever. Hikarin is legit pretty and so humble and so adorable. It's sad to know that she will be in Germany this weekend at the convention where I'm not attending at all and I can't meet up with her. I'm so sad about that. Yeah, it's to a lot of people basically try to learn how they do these things. Like I definitely like look up to and appreciate what they do or what they like publish and stuff, and it's just like kind of makes me like have work on myself sometimes.
So that's your scope of the situation. Okay, that's cool. Then what would be your biggest advantage to your cosplays that you have done? What is the biggest advantage to you? That is also a very interesting question I want to ask you. Because I seen you in cosplay and girl, well, you nailed the look for sure.
Okay, hold on. Like, I've been to so many cosplay events, especially with friends, where people like tend to like recognize my face. It's kind of weird. It's kind of it's fun though, and then I get to talk to them and all that. But the best advantage I have? I don't know. An advantage or something. I don't think I have anything they call advantage. Say that? Did you say that? I think you said that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying because I'm sure everyone has one key trait. I think I should probably reword that instead of advantage. One key trait to every cosplay that you bring in.
You want to know what I was known for during conventions?
Sure.
Like how that was kind of like my trademark at the first 2 or 3 years of my cosplay. I tend to have a lot of food or sweets on me when I was like going to convention. Basically, when people found me at conventions, depending on what kind of season it is, if it's like during spring or like autumn or fall, I tend to have a lot of self-made chocolate with me. So basically, when they see me, they're like, "Oh my god, Lily!" We start to talk about it, and then they sometimes ask me, "Do you have chocolate with you?" And I haven't done that in like the past 2 years. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, like this year and last year I haven't done that yet, so I need to like get back to that again. It's one of the things I love to do a lot, like going to convention not only to meet up with friends, but also like no one ever asked me to do like self-made chocolate. I just wanted to do it since it's kind of like I want to share just something with friends. We get to see each other. Usual friends who live nearby, basically. Treats, it also was an easy way to make friends, basically, you know.
Just give them food and they'll be on your side forever.
It's how sometimes I made up like friends. It's like, hey, you wanna like have chocolate? It's like self-made chocolate, and they're like, yes, and then you start to have conversations. It's like a conversation starter, basically. And yeah, that's what I was known for the like first 2-3 years I started doing cosplay. What is it right now? Right now, it's like I'm still close to my usual cosplay friends. It's now and then I get to know a lot of new people, which I don't mind since I love getting to know people. Now that we talk about what I used to do, I need to do the chocolate things again. I swear I need to do that again.
Time to invest in chocolate sponsorship for Lee. Sponsor her. One of the best German chocolate brands ever. Sponsor her.
No, come on. Shut up.
Because I also have a feeling that my input for cosplayers, it might sound a little biased, I know. Coming from a guy that never cosplayed in his life and never went into any con ever, I feel like cosplayers have like a lot of determination to be able to step out of their way into becoming someone else entirely, so to speak, just like you said. You need to include yourself in the situation. You cannot be this character, because otherwise you might as well be doing it for a video or for a photo shoot. Other than that, those two things do not apply with other people, so we get that out of the way. And then I also noticed too, like, most of you cosplayers always have a group. It doesn't matter if you're alone, you will find a group and you'll just stick with them for like maybe one half of the day, and then you just go off on your merry way, and then you enter into another group. And I just keep on noticing that trend, just like you guys are like always bandwagoning another group, and then it goes into another group, and then it keeps going and going, and that's how you like create connections like wildfire.
That's it. Oh my gosh, it makes me remember how I started my first cosplay group at all, like where I tend to like wear CL Phantom Hive a lot. since it was a very cool costume, and a friend of mine, one character of the same was a story arc from Black Butler, basically. So we started like off as two at first. Yes. And then somehow during the time when I started to like get to know people, a lot of things happened. I got connection through a new, I don't know, it was like a community website. And then I got to know someone who was known for a lot of cool shit she was doing. He was doing. Sorry. And it was like, hey, I've known you from this and that, and I kind of like talking to them, and it was like a nice beginning. And then I found out during a Facebook post they made was damn pronouns, I swear to God. They wanted to do Joker from the circus arc from Black Butler, commenting and say, hey, you like looking for people for a group or something, because I have Ciel's costume from that arc and blah blah blah. It kind of started from there, and it started off like with me connecting other people. Basically, they don't know each other, but I've known them, and that's the risky part, where you know a lot of people, but they don't know each other, and you don't know how well they get along together. And pretty cool experience since they all met. Like, I've known them already, and then it's like kind of weird. I was like introducing them and all this, but it was so cool since we had like almost a full group of our Black Butler group. I think it was like, who was missing? 2 or 3 characters was missing, and one of the 3 characters was Sebastian. And what happened during that convention day, basically we had our group of 6 people, and we were like spending legit the day together, and out of nowhere suddenly a Sebastian turned out who was wearing the same costume from the same story arc we were wearing. And then we didn't know her at all, and she was like, hey, you want to like hang out with us? And that's basically how we found our Sebastian. We spent the rest of the day together, and then since then I've known the person who was like wearing like Sebastian, basically, and how you kind of make friends, basically. If you see someone who's wearing from the same anime, same story arc or something, and you basically just like, and that person is missing or something, and you're like, hey, you want to hang out with us or something? And yeah, it's connection like this happening. And remember, anything I did with depending on what kind of anime or game cosplay you're wearing, basically you hang out a lot together. Final Fantasy, for example, is something I'm like kind of bad sides, I would say. With Final Fantasy, it is bound to see a lot of people cosplaying from that. Those people who are like high and mighty and like looking down at you, and then you have those kind of people who are like just start talking to you because you wear the same cosplay and stuff. And that's how it's like split it up. And I don't care. I have my fun. If people want to like talk to me, I'll talk to them to do. So it's like, for me, it's like it's just, if I see someone who's wearing something similar, I'm like, I want to ask them how they did something I kind of caught my eye on, since, I don't know, I'm still like in the learning process, so I kind of want to have a lot of connection who's kind of helping me out in some situations. the group thingy, it is definitely a thing where you make a lot of connection. There's this things where cosplayer make like a small event at a convention where everyone who wears from the certain type of anime, for example, let's say Boku no Hero Academia, for example, like hyped. In Germany especially, and it's always you're bound to see a huge mass of cosplay who only wears from Boku no Hero Academia, and that's how they basically make friends too. So basically, you either join a group, like a small tiny group with close friends, and you get to know other friends from your friends, or you're just gonna be freaking brave and jump into a mass of strangers.
I also feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, first time cosplayer con guy over here, never even went to one. I also feel there's kind of a pressure to knowing, like I said, you stick out like a sore thumb when you're not cosplaying.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a thing that you will notice at a cosplay event more than actual costumes, or just the individuals that were just there just to see everyone? Do you feel like there's a stigmatism to people like, oh, he should be wearing this, or he should be wearing that, or she should be wearing this and she should be wearing that, in terms of people that aren't cosplaying and people who are cosplaying?
Oh Jesus, I don't know. Like for me, it's I tend to like bolster into who wants to wear what. If I want to wear something, I'm gonna stick to that, depending if I'm alone or in a group. Still kind of hard. Try to understand what you mean with that question.
Oh, what I mean by like stigmatism, it's like the stereotype. Like say that, oh, this guy is wearing this, and then the other guy that isn't doing cosplay will not be noticed, which is kind of a given, right? Because in a cosplay event, you kind of have to be wearing.
You don't have to.
Well, don't have to.
Like,
yeah.
You don't have to. It's like if you feel like you want to wear something and you can wear anything you want, basically. But please refer some certain type of costumes. Yeah. But well, for me, so for example, the last convention, I decided to like not wear anything like specific. You like feel under the weather, or you don't feel like wearing. It's like going severe. Was that even English? I'm not sure anymore. The word in German, whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I think I understand what you mean, but what I'm getting at is like there seems to be a stereotype for people in most cosplay events, like to those people that are not wearing anything, they're just like they feel kind of shamed for in a weird twisted way. That's how I view it, because
I think it's then probably it's like their own thought for thinking that way. Like it makes a little. It's like no, it's a huge factor of mentality, I guess. People think they're forced to do that, but they don't. If people are like going to shame them, then those people are dicks. For me, it's like if they don't feel well, I don't feel comfortable with something, and they're just gonna like stay in their normal clothes, so be it. I don't care. I mean, what counts the most for me, except for example, is that I get to see them, and you know, like if it's like saying to friends, for example, like some of them sometimes have the worst cosplay to wear in a windy day weather whatsoever. For example, my freaking dress I wear during the windiest, rainiest and coldest basically. Kind of surprised that I've gotten sick, but I better get sick. But basically is that if you have the wrong cosplay for a certain weather, on a convention. You're basically like either going to suffer or you're just gonna be like, nope. Go like in normal clothes.
Just nope.
It's dependable on how they can like Jesus Christ phone. Help in a case like I know where my close to the line and when I'm crossing the line basically. So yeah, what is more important, health or trying to survive? Or suffer for shooting or something. It's depending. Like sometimes for a few hours, like 1 hour or 2 hours, I can survive in the cold. Actually, ooh. But then the cold never bothered me anyway. Okay, that was not it.
That was great. That was a good segue.
I wasn't even like trying to connect. That just came out. But yeah, for a lot during photo shootings in the colds.
I'm gonna sacrifice myself for this photo. You better be grateful.
It's depending on like see my cousin for example, she asked me to if I have time for an interview and something and if I can like get some friends together for shooting or something, so she like have people to interview basically. And I was like organizing a small shooting with me and a friend, grab a friend, and it was like in the middle of February. It was snowing basically, and what are we wearing? No, very thin dresses basically. If it's kind of tells you something about Seraph of the End. You know the anime? And
sort of.
Yeah, basically the characters my friend and I were wearing were Ashura Maru and frick, I forgot the other name. It was someone with pink hair and I forgot the name. I forgot the name, but we both were wearing dresses and like with basically sleeveless dresses too, in the middle of a snowy February day, and it was just cold.
Yeah, I mean, wearing dresses is not advised in winter. By any means necessary. That's a good little tidbit for you cosplayers.
To be honest, that was like the best photo shooting the coolest photo shooting we had, actually. Like,
just because it looks cool, it's not functional.
Yes, it's not functional, but it looks cool. So that's the point. You better suffer through the pain, or you better be a freaking coward.
It takes guts to be a cosplayer. To all you guys that say that, oh, cosplayers just only dress up, well, they're doing more than that.
We're doing more than that. Some doing way more, but hey, everyone how they want to do it. So I'm like, I do my shit, you guys do your shit.
Don't you ever say that winter shoot was worthless. It was great.
It was legit cool. I mean, it suffered a lot though, but it was legit.
Then what would you say for a first timer like me? Say I wanted to get into the cosplay scene. What would be your major suggestion?
Suggestion? Oh jeez, I don't know. The first time I got into the cosplay scene was like something you love, basically. You start a character you legit like a lot, and then like see if it's something for you or not. Like cosplay's not for everyone. It's depending on how much they're willing to sacrifice.
How much they're willing to sacrifice. Jesus.
Sacrificing a lot of money to cosplay.
You really are. I gotta admit a few things. You guys are willing to be great investors for clothing companies, man.
That's true.
That's for sure. Cloths, vinyls, everything.
I mean, the amount of things I pay for a cosplay, it's around 100 euros probably.
Per event or per year?
Just for a costume, depending on how difficult it ranges from 50 to 100 euros for a costume. Depending on the difficulty and details you want to put into it.
Ah, okay.
You have to count the price from the let's talking fabric.
I think it's rather difficult for me to actually cosplay a character because there's like a limited selection for me because I don't even watch that much anime, as you know, and I only watch movies and documentaries. I don't even watch that many shows either.
It's like I stopped watching animes for the past 2 years. Only like start to like watch animes if it's something from, I don't know, webtoon, manga, it turned into anime basically, depending on what kind of but right now I'm not watching any kind of series or animes or something. I'm so stuck on reading all my free time.
And people say that,
guys,
yeah, not talk to us. You're just like on your own way, just watching just like a couple of things, and then you're just like reading a webtoon. You just want to be left alone. Just like, I just want to read my webtoon, guys. That's all I want.
That's basically how I feel currently because, today again. Guess who's wrote me again? The dude who I kind of wanted to ignore. Don't you get it? Like, my note? I said no.
No means no. I think that's also in the cosplay community. I feel like no means no. Seriously, no lechery is allowed. No adultery is allowed either. No sexual conduct is allowed.
Like private thingy, then so be it. They can do whatever they want in the private, but in public convention, basically, where a lot of kids tend to be there, it is a no-go.
There's a fine line, isn't there? There's like a huge fine line.
What you can do and what you can't do.
And then I also feel like there's a pressure for cosplayers to like present themselves in a certain way, correct? There's like a pressure, sort of, to understand that a character looks like this, but you want to provide your own interpretation. And then there's like a gray area in between those, just like, where do you lie on? Yourself or the character? Yourself or the character? Goes back to your earlier comment. It's because you are displaying this character as it is. You have to also find a line where you are including yourself too. I feel like that's also very important.
Factor in cosplays, as long as you have fun, that's stop you basically.
Do you also feel that pressure sometimes when you're cosplaying a certain character, or at all throughout your experience?
I did experience a lot, sometimes like kind of a distance in some cases. There's, for example, Luna Freya, and I had some experience where I was at an event and then there were people who were cosplaying Luna Freya too. I'm like the one who's like not judgy. Like, I mean, we're cosplaying the same character, so let's talk together. Kind of, I don't know, like, we don't have to talk. It's like, I just want to be nice and then have a fun time. I don't want to like someone like worse or something, you know? And
do you also feel like that's also a turn off for first-time cosplayers as well?
yeah, they're sometimes like first-time cosplay are afraid of like people judging them. It's something that scares off a lot of people actually. And as long as you don't care, why should you care about people judging you if you have fun? If you like, I at first it did kind of like at the beginning, but then over the years I'm like, I don't give a shit. I have my fun time. People, that's all I care about.
Do you also feel that, I know this might be a personal question for every cosplayer in the world right now. In certain cases, I have also heard, in certain cases, that cosplayers are a fine line of understanding that they are representing a kind of sexualized term to the real actual characters. Do you also feel that you can go in between the lines of those, or go represent the sexualized side or the most normal side? Do you also feel like that's a split in the community?
I mean, it's weird to say. Like for me, it's like I know what I'm comfortable with when I stay in that case. So for me, those more like explicit ones, then they so be it. I mean, if they have their fun and whatsoever, they can do it. But for me, I'm like, I'll stay where I'm comfortable with, and even though the character is this and that way, I don't want to be that much. Like for example, let's say, I don't know, Fairy Tail and One Piece, for example, they basically the women's are very curvy. Let's say it like that. Very curvy. Yeah. In some cases, people don't have like those body types at all, and it's just like if they feel comfortable with doing it, then they should do it if they have fun. But I'm like, great. Why do I have to like dress in a certain type of way just to please? Would that be a thought? That would be actually a thought too. Why would people do that to please people? That would be the next question.
It kind of refers back to your statement that people feel comfortable that way because they are. It's how they represent themselves, and if they're comfortable doing it and it's stable, then, well, that figures.
I mean, some of them do look good in what they're doing. For example, let's say, who is it? Yeng? I think she's someone from Malaysia. Was it Malaysia or Singapore? Let me check. I think I don't know. I can't. Don't read flags. She's someone with a body type. She basically can do it, and she loves to do it. But, what I do respect her for, but she's also someone who's very humble and very funny and adorable. Like I've met her 4 years ago. But she was so adorable, and she is definitely a beauty. She is definitely a beauty, and she can pull off those more explicit ones, I would say.
She is beauty. She is grace, and let me tell you, she'll rip off your face.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's how everyone wants to like portray their characters and how far they want to go for it too, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Like your winter shoot. That's how far you will go in the freezing tundra of Germany. You figured, yeah, you know what, let me wear this dress and cosplay a character and stick it out for I don't know how long and just, brace the winds.
Well, yeah. Indeed.
I feel like I will enjoy my first cosplay con. If I ever went to it, I feel like I would enjoy it, but it'll be overwhelming to me at first. I feel like that's your first time experience as well.
Yes, that was it. I think like you saw so many new things, and what I did realize was over the time, the more I often like visited conventions, I started to like at the first convention I bought a lot of stuff. Like,
oh boy.
Some assess like I have a time when I started, actually Attack on Titan was so in. That's the one thing I remember. And I got an Aaron plushie and I still have it till this day. It's like already 5 years old. That for example I have, and tend to like have a lot of like keychains before, but now it's like I don't need them as much as some. It started like I don't know why it started, why you needed to have that many things. I stopped buying things as long as I don't need them or want.
In the inside, I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it.
Like that's you know what's the hardest decision is when you're in like yeah, like those freaking booths and with I don't know art stuff or something. People selling those figurines or plushies basically. Holy crap! Geez, so much I would buy them as often as I could.
Sponsor me so I can get all these art. Support her on Patreon.
I don't have Patreon.
Oh god, but I feel like if I ever did meet you at a cosplay con, you're cosplaying, I feel like my first reaction is like, I recognize that girl. Where did I meet her? I can't say
that
where.
would be so funny. That would be so funny though. Jeez, I should like come over to Cali without saying a word to you. It's gonna like I'm gonna visit Vernon and like gonna meet up with Pine and Geeky and not gonna tell you a shit thing.
And then all of a sudden you just send me like a casual message just saying like, oh, are you going to this, and this? And I'm like, I'm planning to go on that day. Why? What's happening? Just like, oh, nothing. I'm like, okay. I probably wouldn't even think about it. I was just like, okay, cool. And then I go to that day, and then all of a sudden I see a tiny Asian girl just like cosplaying an amazing character, and then she starts running towards me. I'm like, okay, my expectations are met. And then she starts hugging me all of a sudden. I'm like, do I know you? And just like, and then the German accent comes out, and just like, oh my god, it's you,
wow.
Lee.
Oh my god, it's you. Oh no.
I barely even recognized you.
Oh. Come on, I'm actually like not. I don't change that much when I cosplay.
I bet you don't, but to me, since I don't know, I'm like, oh, man.
Okay, I can kind of imagine your reaction to that. So yeah.
A random Asian girl is just hugging me. I'm just here already.
No, I'm just a career boo and to see an Asian dude, I need to hug them. Okay, now I need to cringe. Oh, I never said that.
Just a Korea boo, just like me, just like in my flat cap, I'm just wearing casual clothing. All of a sudden, like, I recognize that Korean pop star. I'm just like, no, it's just me.
You know what I think about is that, imagine that kind of thing happened to Vernon. Who's getting murdered at your side now?
I don't know. Probably Vernon at the hospital.
Oh no, Vernon! How dare you! Wait, let me just turn on my light for a second.
Just a Korea boo. I got that on stream. Oh my god, that's exactly what I'm gonna be wearing.
The thing is about like what's happening at conventions. I think a few times, I think 1.5 years now, what I witnessed is like a lot of kids are less K-pop music and started to do those. I don't know.
They listen to some J-pop now.
It's all about J-pop and K-pop now. Oof.
I'm just saying, J-pop is like the alternative brother, and then K-pop is like the mainstream brother.
Yes.
People just keep on forgetting that J-pop exists all of a sudden, and then K-pop just ran to the door saying like, we did it first. Technically they did, but J-pop has existed sometime afterwards, and people kind of forget that they are until they start listening to it, and it's just like, I'm a fan ever since the beginning, and then K-pop's just like brag about it. We weren't even popular in the States, but now everyone started listening to us. Come at me.
Come at me, though.
Do you also feel like that's also the divide for cosplayers in general and cosplay events where like it has to be Japanese oriented? But
No.
I think also the Avatar Last Airbender cosplay that you did, it kind of breaks that stereotype a little bit because it's American made. So people keep on saying like, is it anime? Is it cartoon? And then people kind of forget like cosplay is costume.
Yeah,
So-
cosplay is costume. So yeah.
You can basically dress
Everything-
however you want.
I mean, dude, cosplay is not only costume. You can cosplay from a freaking TV show. You can cosplay from. Okay, if you want to, I swear, people would do that
Some weird things.
if they have the
man.
imagination for that.
Yeah, the imagination is what really limits a cosplayer, isn't it? The imagination.
But it's really amazing how some people can pull off the coolest thing ever, and in some cases it's just
Armors, man. It's hard to make. But I feel like if I were to cosplay a character, it'd probably be a historical character. I don't feel like I'll be doing like a fictional character.
You're going to be a samurai.
No, probably not a
Or ninja.
samurai. I mean, a virgin for sure. You could probably dress up as something like really stereotypical, but for me, I'll probably go for like, probably like a 1940s look, maybe, which is my daily clothing. So it's like, yeah, probably do that. Look straight out of a,
You know,
film.
yeah, I mean, some people would do cosplay from a film.
Yeah, I feel like
Movie.
people have been doing that for a very long time. It's just that
They
it's
can-
overshadowed by anime.
It's also overshadowed by games and animes, basically. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of Avengers cosplays, for example.
Oh yeah.
Pretty dope. Some of them can pull off a little, like a very cool stuff.
And then there are times where it's just like, I can see the inspiration. It's just not matching up here. I think that's also like the silent green monster within every cosplayer. It's like, I can see where you're going for, but you're just not cutting it. That's like the secret green monster in every cosplayer, saying like they don't judge, but really they are, and they just don't say it. That's like the evil green monster in everyone, for sure. We judge them, but we don't say it. Bunch of cutlass throats out here, man. You know what? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna dress like myself in a cosplay. I'm gonna see how many people recognize me. Because of my profile picture, it'll make it look like I'm cosplaying that. Does that count?
You could do that. I swear, you could pull off an original character you've made and just gonna pull off that.
It's my OC. Thank you. It is my very own OC. He has a terrible backstory. You don't know what he's been. Yes, that is my goal. If I can get myself a blue sweater vest, I'ma show you how it's done.
Wait to see that. Oh my god, why am I yawning so much? I slept enough today. What the fuck? Okay, wait, no, I didn't. But
No, that's a damn lie. You know it.
I don't know what you mean.
It's just that cosplay craze, you know, just like, I gotta stay up for this so I can do projects, okay?
I stayed up for freaking sketches.
Yeah, which is weird. Starving artist, maybe? Maybe not.
I'm getting back to it, so it's kind of like a good practice actually.
Right. Oh, did I also mention I'm doing a script for Lee? Yeah. Based on
Did
our
you mention
Mafia
that?
game.
Oh, yeah, he did mention that.
I did.
He did mention that. I don't think so.
Now I did.
So the things like I asked how did I ask you to like start doing this?
Okay, here's how the story went. We were just done with the Mafia game, and it was in podcast number 17. And right after that,
It's fun. Listen to it.
me and Lee, we were just bantering like how the game was fun and we enjoyed everyone's time. And then she went on a tangent saying like, you know, I could probably do a comic strip on this if someone were to give a story on this Mafia game. And I said, done. Just done.
Alright,
Easy.
that's the only thing I heard from him, that done.
Yeah, I got this.
Like, I'm trying to practice like storyboarding and comics and all that stuff, and that was like a good example to like work on basically, and then it's like I just went like done.
He is determined to make this thing, and he is really determined to provide good context to her drive. I have to do this. That's my motivation. I have to do this because it's a story that I'm creating, and it's very original. So why not?
I mean, it was definitely fun, the session, and based on what was going on in the game, it is worth it to turn it into a little comic strip.
I would love to voice act those lines, man. And my lines especially. I would love to. It'll be the greatest pleasure.
Huge plot twist to turn to include the freaking puppet master into this.
Oh, that'll be me as a narrator for sure. Well, actually, Billy is the narrator technically, so you know, a little hint. Billy Long is the character that I created based on myself. So, good luck, everyone.
Oh, just going to tell you guys, like, Yin is the type who like always tells me to like not sleep and like to not fall asleep in Discord calls. And then he just started to like random call me private, like in a private call, and like started doing this character sheet thingy. And it was so late for me, and I legit stayed awake to like just answer Yeng's questions up to 5 a.m. or something. Like,
it's really sad knowing that I just didn't want him to sleep in a public VC, knowing that she's sleeping in a public VC. She's not even alone per se. She's not even in private, so it's scary to me just thinking about it. So I was just like, okay, she's not gonna fall asleep there. She might as well fall asleep in a private call where no one can disturb her. So
except for you.
Except for me. That's the only baseline. But even then, I don't really talk much until I said like, huh. It's just like, ooh, those type of moments.
That's so weird. And now I hear him like talking to himself, like, huh? What are you talking about?
I was still working on the character. Do you remember like us just trying to choose colors? That was pretty funny. We were just trying to choose colors based on the character.
To choose colors, yes. I was like so half asleep. I'm like, dude, just choose one.
You're the artist, so I was just like, I gotta choose colors that are not too difficult to find. So I'll set the baseline for what she can.
And then he went so specific with like coffee brown.
Yeah, I went with very specific colors.
It was so funny though.
And then you just question yourself like, who's the real artist here, you or me? That's what you questioned me. I'm like, I don't know anymore.
I did because I was like, dude, I might change it probably, even though if you're gonna type like everything down, but okay.
I got this, I said. I got this. So far the script is it's in the first page of dialogue. And I think I felt like I set the base tone of the story early on rather than later on, because I don't want her to get confused how the story's gonna play out, and then she'll quickly find out through the dialogue on what's gonna happen next. That's how I feel like I want her to take the approach of the story. Read every single dialogue because there's a hint towards the next event, so on and so forth. It's like a chain of dominoes, the domino effect. One event corresponds with another, and it goes on and on until there's one final point, or there's a tipping point that just stops, and then you must start over again. That's how I feel like I want to make this story for her.
Yeah, I'm up to something. Help me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Kill me now.
I even base a character on Lee in this story.
So if I'm gonna die, if you're gonna like kill me off in the story, I'm gonna kill you.
But don't worry, you're gonna voice act this girl. Come on. Who else is a German Asian girl that I know on the server?
How about Sunny?
I mean, Sunny, yes, but
not the Dutch Sunny, the German Sunny. We have a German Sunny.
We have a German Sunny, yeah. But I still chose Lee. I still chose Lee for this role. Because she can finally be taller for once. She can finally be taller for once. I made her character directly tall for a reason. And plus, she's hot. What more do you want? Other than that, I can't really give too much of the story. I gotta let Lee do this for me.
I get the surprise first. Hands off, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be so hard for her to like keep it in because I feel like she'll sprout out details by accident.
I am bad. No, wait.
You're not bad at keeping secrets. It's just that it happens because it's a complication with speech sometimes.
Wait,
just like
wait a second. I think my dad's calling me. Wait, I'm gonna turn my microphone for a second. Oh. Yeah.
Well, it's just me and this solo podcast, part 3. Oh man, I really am enjoying this stream because I'm learning a lot more about the cosplay community and banter with a foreign girl. Sure, why not?
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Thing is like that I had my cabrio car roof all open and it's already.
Oh, okay. But continuing on, yeah, I feel like Lee would not spoil too much of the story. It's just that she'll say a detail at a random, and then that's
I would say a detail and then gonna let everyone suffer.
Oh, do you know that Billy dies? I'm just kidding. That's just a detail what the sentence said. What? Who said it? You don't know, you know. Suffer the same fate that I did from Yang. The puppet master that he is.
Makes me remember how you turned me and Vernon into Mafia and Doctor, like have a head fight.
Oh yeah, love it. Love the manipulation of characters.
I swear to God, when I was a Mafia, no one just like, they were like, who's the Mafia? Like, I don't know.
Lee in her mind. Lee in her mind. This is her in her mind. I have control.
I swear, like, I was trying. No, I wasn't trying. I legit played the innocent one who's just enjoying her tea. You know what's the gist is about being a Mafia? You have to like keep talking while you're like answering or doing something and whatever, you know? Talking and you're like equal to suspect what kind of role you are. What is that actually? I don't know.
I just
pulled it
roles. I just chose roles intentionally, not accidentally. There's nothing accidental in this game other than the players itself. The mod me gets to choose and see how the cards fall. Love it. Oh man, sometimes I get an ace in a hole. I was like, yes, this is how the story I wanted. Or sometimes I don't really get that all the time. You get a random ending. I don't even get a
And-
guarantee.
Because you basically have like a very open ending of how a mafia story turns out. Like, I remember you said you wanted to change. No, you had a certain type of train thought when it was my turn as a mafia.
Yeah, I did.
Destroyed it.
When you were aiming for Misty and immediately went for Geeky, I was like, ooh, wait, this could get interesting. So I'll allow it once, and it changed the ending. I was like, okay, I can work with this. I can work with this.
Oh, it's changed the ending. Wait, what would happen if I killed Sunny?
Oh,
off
if you
first?
would have killed Sunny, you would have definitely put a major blow on the townies. Now that they don't have a detective anymore, or rather, that's the instigator. So, so you kind of signed a death warrant a little bit.
Oops.
Had you not do that though, you made the story more interesting. So I was like, yes, this is it. This is the
damn.
story. And you guys continued it on for almost an hour. So I was like, yes, this is how.
The last front was getting so long.
I loved
I
it.
think the last 2 rounds were getting so long, but it was legit good. Vernon and I were head on head having a fight.
Yeah, the last round was everyone's getting heated. The last round, everyone's getting heated.
Ah.
If you want to
a lot of that
enjoy,
one.
yeah, if you want to enjoy that one, podcast number 17, that's where you'll find it.
It's worth it. Okay, I mean we
Worth the 2 hours.
2 hours. It definitely. I mean, Yen is the kind of person that always like puts me in the end of the freaking live stream for everything.
Yes, that's my trend with Lee.
This is now a thing, and I'm gonna regret it.
She has
whatever.
one-liners for days.
It's like I'm the type who just gonna say say the things out loud, probably without like it happen.
Realizing it.
I mean, in the first one, I was drunk. Going to happen, and now, like I was saying, I only said something about, oh, I'm so sorry for being drunk right now, and I'm drinking on an empty stomach, and then Rook went just like, fuck you or something. I don't know. I don't remember it. It was like, why is it always me? And the last one, in the last podcast Mafia game, I was drinking a lot of tea basically. I had to go freaking to the bathroom, and I just had to record it.
What more can I say? She was awesome.
I know I'm awesome. No, I'm joking. I'm just a normal human being who has the weirdest timing for everything.
But without further ado, I think that'll be it for time. Thank you so much, Lee. I learned so much from you.
You're welcome. It was fun.
Yeah. As for the last question, though, to end it off, what was it like being Tough Bayfong? She's one of my favorite characters as well.
What? Sorry again?
What was your favorite thing about Tough Bayfong? Because she's also one of my favorite characters.
Oh my god, it was so cool. I was just like, how did I say it? Like, people were like, oh my god, tough! And I was like, just, yo!
You even matched her look. You matched her look. How does that work?
I don't know how it worked. It was like, I'm gonna pull it off because tough is gonna be the
Easy. Almost easy.
character. I mean, at first the cosplay isn't as hard as it is. It's just so simple but yet so dope to wear, especially during summer. Oh, actually, that's a good thing. I should wear it during summer again. But tough is just, well, she's so freaking blunt and then so adorable at the same time. And I remember first time I wear tough was for a best friend of mine, like a good friend of mine. She was like, hey, she's going to wear Zuko with a friend as Katara. And I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So what happened? I already decided that I'm gonna surprise her with Toph. it. Basically, we spent a huge time just goofing around as like Zuko and Toph and Katara. Basically, awesome.
As for me though, just seeing her in the top Bayfon, she did it justice.
I legit like everyone who's like every time I'm like showing people my cosplay Instagram page, they're like, "Oh my god, the tough cosplay is so dope." I'm like, "Thank you, I love it too." A lot of people like, oh, it's even like Raven even like commented on the tough cosplay. Like he's like, "Oh my god, that looks so freaking dope." I'm like, "Thank you."
It looks like tough, but only grown, taller.
She just DM'd me and he's she just DM'd me. It's like, I want to be in live stream with Yeng too.
He just messaged me too. But I think it's also incredible knowing that Tough as a character, she really brought up her A game, saying that I'm just a little girl, yes, but that make me no bitch. I take no sass.
Come on, like the thing is like about Tough is she knows she has like disabilities, but it doesn't like stop her from continuing what she wants to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Everyone has limitations, but goddamn, do they break it down? Honestly, they just
are the only one who's going to stop yourself. So basically, if you want to continue, then continue the freaking further, whatever. That didn't make sense, but I don't care.
Just do it, is basically what she wants to say. Don't let limitations stop you from what you want to do. Just do it. And that's what Tough Beifong literally says every single time. I don't give a damn about my disabilities. I don't.
I can't fight the... yeah, Toph is cool. Toph
I mean, when you were posing as her, I was like, yeah, but that's more of a fire-bending stance than most of what she does. But you know what? I'm not gonna judge. She looks great. Lee looks great. Even though it looks like a fire-bending pose, she looks great.
Just wearing the fire-bend, like, you know, Fire Nation clothes, so
yeah, I get that. I get that. Sorry, it's just the martial arts in me talking, Lee.
I know, it's okay. It's all good. It's just like, I know how to pose. That's the only thing I am good for. I need to like upload more picture of Toph now that I see it.
Yeah, well, I guess that'll conclude the stream. A little life lesson from Tough Beifong. Never give up, honestly. Don't let your limitations stop you.
Never, like, yeah, don't let things stop you. Just continue on if you want to.
Alright, that'll be it. Thank you, Lee. I'll see you later. And
yeah,
goodbye
see you later. Bye-bye.